It's Monday, December 20th, and this is now on HNN.
The evidence in this proceeding will show that peril is not only imminent, but it has happened.
The state holds a contested case hearing over the health department's order to suspend fuel operations at Red Hill.
With Omicron that we're dealing with, it is going to be a tough few weeks to months as we get deeper into the winter.
Top health experts say the country is facing an incoming tidal wave of COVID cases.
I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
President Biden's $2 trillion social spending and climate bill appears to be in trouble.
Plus, the death toll rises from a super typhoon in the Philippines. We've got the details just ahead on This Is Now. Good afternoon. Thanks for watching. This Is Now on this Monday. You've got Jonathan and Ashley right here in the HNN Digital Center as the state's COVID surge continues to climb.
The health department is reporting 840 new infections today. The breakdown of cases by island include 742 on Oahu, 42 on Maui, 26 on the Big Island, and 21 on Kauai. Governor Ige and state health leaders are urging the public to be vigilant and take additional precautions this holiday season. Meanwhile, the Omicron variant has now been detected in 45 states. It's not the dominant strain yet, but experts warn that will happen soon. Deborah Alfarone has more.
Los Angeles has canceled its New Year's Eve celebration in Grand Park because of COVID. Boston's mayor announced a brand new vaccine mandate for restaurants, gyms, and sports venues. And the mayor of Washington, D.C. has reinstated a mandatory indoor mask policy.
2, 1, Happy New Year!
However, the Times Square New Year's Eve countdown is still on for now. The 2022 digital board arrived Monday, even as New York City grapples with a record-breaking number of cases.
We did not expect Omicron to move quite this quickly.
Nationwide, average new daily COVID numbers have nearly doubled since the beginning of November, with an average of 156,000 cases a day. From Minnesota to Florida, California to New York, lines for testing are long, and home test kits hard to find.
We are going to see a spike in cases, and that's because Omicron is incredibly transmissible. But there will be a stark difference between the experience of those who are vaccinated and boosted versus those who are unvaccinated.
President Biden will address the nation tomorrow, and he's expected to issue a stark warning to unvaccinated Americans. He's also expected to outline new steps to help communities struggling with new caseloads.
We continue to see, and our health experts assess, that you're 14 times more likely to die of COVID if you have not been vaccinated versus vaccinated.
Among those who've been caught up in this most recent surge, Senators Elizabeth Warren and Cory Booker, U.S. Representative Jason Crow from Colorado, and Maryland Governor Larry Hogan. All say they are vaccinated and boosted and only experiencing mild symptoms. Today, Moderna released new data that shows a third shot increased antibody levels 37 times. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
So we have a lot of updates to get to regarding the tainted water crisis.
So the Navy is contesting the health department's order to suspend its operations at the Red Hill fuel storage facility. Here's some of what happened so far in today's public hearing.
It's difficult to conceive of a situation in which the health of the citizens and the environment of Oahu are more at imminent peril than that situation which currently exists because and will continue to exist for so long as the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility is running. And my client, the Board of Water Supply, like the Department of Health, has a public trust obligation to protect the water for the customers today and for future generations. And that responsibility, which we take very seriously, requires us to come here today and ask the Department of Health to do the right thing and to issue this order.
This case should speak for itself, but fortunately it does not have to. Almost 1 million people on the island of Oahu will never take safe, clean drinking water for granted ever again. The Department of Health is here to speak on their behalf. The Department of Health is here to protect their water. The Department of Health is here today, and however long it takes, to protect their health and their environment.
My name is John McKay. I'm going to be asking you questions on behalf of the Navy. Concrete, when it's in contact, close contact with steel, actually creates a passive barrier for corrosion. It's actually a mechanism to control corrosion, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's why we have things like rebar when we build bridges and we build different parking structures. There's concrete that's attached to that rebar, and that rebar is protected, at least in part, by its contact with the concrete, correct?
Provided that connection is maintained.
Okay, so this was constructed to maintain a passive barrier between the concrete and the steel to prevent corrosion, correct?
I believe that was the intent.
Now, the Navy says it will start flushing water lines at the Pearl City Peninsula military housing neighborhood today. The military says this will act as a test for the Waiava well. It's been the water source since the Red Hill and Halava wells were shut down. Now, the flushing process at Pearl City Peninsula military housing is expected to take a day. And after that, the Navy says it will do tests at Red Hill and Aliyah Manu Military Reservation Army housing. That's because those are closest to the Red Hill well. Now, the finger pointing continues on Capitol Hill as President Biden's $2 trillion climate and spending bill appears to be in trouble. That's because centrist Democratic Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia, he delivered that fatal blow, saying he won't vote for it. For more on this, we are joined now by Hawaii News Now's White House correspondent John Decker. John, thank you so much for being with us. Now, what has the response been from the White House and Democratic leaders over the weekend?
Well, they were disappointed, to say the least, Ashley. The White House put out a really harsh statement criticizing Joe Manchin for essentially not being honest with them in his dealings in terms of negotiations with the White House. And it's pretty interesting in terms of the harsh rhetoric that was leveled at Joe Manchin, not only by the White House, but also by many Democrats who are his colleagues in the Senate. What comes next? I think it really depends upon what the president wants to do. If he wants to pass a social spending bill in 2022, it will have to be significantly reduced in scope than the bill that he wanted to see passed with Joe Manchin on board. That's in order to get Joe Manchin's support. We'll see what the White House decides to do in the very early part of 2022.
And what was Manchin's issue with the bill? Was it the child tax credit extension?
His primary issues with the bill was the size of the bill, Ashley, the scope of the bill. He felt that now was not the time to spend so much money to add to the federal debt. And also, he had a problem with it in terms of the inflation numbers that we're seeing right now all across the country. He said this would only add to those inflation issues in the years ahead. And for all of those reasons, he indicated yesterday that he is a firm no on the Build Back Better plan.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Ashley and John, but we are getting a live update right now from the Navy. Let's try to listen in.
You still are impacted with that TLA rate. You can do that, and that will cover meals. And the incidentals piece is something that the experts are sort of looking into. All right. Another update, there's a number of different categories of folks that live in our housing. They're all our families. We don't necessarily distinguish between them, right? They're all our family, our ohana here in our military housing facilities. But some of the methods that we have to use in order to compensate those folks are different, just because of their different, whether they're uniformed, non-uniformed, potentially even retirees or unaffiliated. So for civilians who are in PPV housing areas, that are affected. There is obviously options for them as well. And I want to emphasize that there's a how-to guide for government civilian employees who are living in our PPV family housing. And I'd probably refer you just to go to that process. It's on the cpf.navy.mil/Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam water updates, that overall page. And the how-to guide is posted there. Is that right? Posted on there? Okay, got it. The staff over here are nodding their heads. There's a lot of detail in there, and so I won't necessarily go through that detail with everyone. But that is there, so if you're in that situation, please head there and take a look. Okay, EFAC. What's an EFAC? Does everybody know what our EFAC is? We have all these expressions for these places. It's actually our Emergency Family Assistance Center, EFAC, EFAC. This is a really good resource. It's sort of a one-stop shopping for folks who have a need for anyone, a variety of needs, and it is. EFAC is located over in the Mauna Lua Shopping Center area. Okay, it's coincident with the Military and Family Support Center over there, over basically right by the NEX area. So inside that facility is an EFAC setup, and we have clinicians for counseling, chaplains. They are doing medical screenings, all right, expedited medical screenings there. They're offering legal services, information referrals, that sort of thing. If you need to just talk to someone and you don't want to call the EOC number, that's a good resource to walk in there and say, how can I get this answered, or how can I get help, right? The Red Cross is represented there, Marine Corps Relief Society, Navy Marine Corps Relief, Air Force Financial Aid is also embedded there in the EFAC. And they've got some other stuff. Housing is also there. Okay, so some of you may have gone in there wittingly or unwittingly when you went to try to find what your housing options were. So they have a rep also at the EFAC. EFAC is open from 0730 to 1700, Monday through Friday, Saturdays and Sundays, 10 a.m. to 1400. It is going to be on call only for 24th and 25th December and 31st December and 1st of January. So Christmas Eve, Christmas, and New Year's Eve, New Year's, it's going to be on call. And there's a number, 808-722-7847, the call number there for assistance on those days. However, a lot of support that you can get there, and highly encouraged if you're frustrated or you're just unsure of what to do next. Pop in there and you can get some face-to-face service to sort of help.
Navy officials giving an update on the tainted water crisis to service members and residents who are affected. We'll have much more on this on later editions of Hawaii News Now.
To severe weather now from across the Pacific. The death toll has climbed to more than 200 after Typhoon Rai hit the Philippines last week. Officials say over 50 people are still missing. Experts say the typhoon brought winds of up to 120 miles per hour, making it the strongest storm to hit the country this year. The death toll is only expected to rise as several towns have been unreachable for days due to power outages and clogged roads. New today, in a major step to fight climate change, the Biden administration is raising vehicle mileage standards significantly to reduce emissions of planet-warming greenhouse gases. This rule is going to raise mileage standards starting for 2023 model years, reaching a projected industry-wide target of 40 miles per gallon by 2026. These mileage rules are the most ambitious tailpipe pollution standards ever set for passenger cars and lightweight trucks. Now to this travel update during this busy holiday season, 2/3 through the month and we're over 400,000 arrivals, but we're still down 20% from pre-COVID 2019. Domestic traffic is down 15% to Maui, up to other islands. Japan is 3% of normal still, and we are seeing a little uptick from Australia. Fears of Omicron variant aren't necessarily keeping travel numbers down. NBC's Tom Costello will have a special report about this tonight on the NBC Nightly News. Here's a preview.
Good afternoon from Miami International Airport at the start of a very busy Christmas holiday travel rush, and Miami is already seeing exploding passenger volume. In fact, since Thanksgiving, we have now seen more people coming through Miami as they are exceeding 2019 passenger levels before the pandemic. Nationwide, the TSA is now saying 30 million people will travel between today and after New Year's. The heaviest travel days this coming Thursday and the Monday after New Year's. We are going behind the scenes with American Airlines. This is their busiest international hub. We're going to talk about how Miami is really driving this heavy passenger volume and what we can expect nationwide. That's coming up on NBC Nightly News. Back to you.
Thanks, Tom. Look forward to that report coming up on the NBC Nightly News, coming up right after KHNL's 5:30 newscast. Taking a live look outside right now. Check out Punch Bowl. Looking beautiful out there today. But will this weather stick around for your holiday? Let's turn it over now to Guy Hoggy with that update.
How's it on this Monday? We're going to have those windward and Mauka showers continue to come through the state, riding on those breezy trade winds, and that will limit the rainfall buildups, right? Flooding not really an issue, although the Big Islands, corner side, could see some afternoon thunderstorms. That's a chance of that. And we've got a northeast swell that's building, so it's going to be a little on the choppy side, though, especially for the east side. And it's not a good direction for the country. Not many spots will be working well. So we've got a long stretch all the way through Friday. Breezy trade winds, scattered showers for those windward areas, drier weather with lighter winds due in for Christmas.
Thank you, Guy. Let's see what the internet is talking about. And we have something very special posted for you at your H&N digital platforms today. A list of the top Christmas movies. But keep in mind, this is according to the critics. We don't necessarily agree with all these at all. This is what the critics have to say. And we all know what people say about the critics. Let's get started, right?
Right. So to help people sort through the many holiday movies out there, entertainment website Stacker compiled Metacritic data on all those Christmas movies and ranked them according to their Metascore. This is 1 out of 100. So to qualify, each film had to be identified as a Christmas movie by critics. So here we go. The top 5, John.
All right. Number 5, which I think deserves a higher ranking, really. Miracle on 34th Street. I remember the very first time I saw this movie in 3rd grade, Mrs. Hallisey's class. Yep, at St. Andrews Elementary. Yep, from start to finish, this film carries a theme of joy, and it's really beautiful, well shot, really makes the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade feel so important to your holiday as well. What's up next?
Number 4, also a great one. It's A Wonderful Life. This was in 1946. The Metascore was 89, so this is what the comments say. So did you know in 1974, when the producer and original copyright owner failed to renew the copyright for the movie, it entered the public domain, meaning it was free for TV networks to show until the copyright owner found a way to regain control in 1993. That's a long time.
And that is why we saw it so much on free TV for so many years. All right, moving along to, we're at number 3. Little Women. And keep in mind, this is the 2019 version. I have not seen any version of this movie. It has a Metascore of 91. Get this, though. This film nominated for 188 awards and won 72 of them, so it's got to be good. It also won an Oscar for Best Achievement in Costuming.
I love the one with Winona Ryder in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them. But I know it's good.
Number 2, this is where it gets weird. The Apartment, 1960. So Metascore 94. So this is the famous romantic comedy featuring legendary actors Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine. So it centers around extramarital affairs, right? So it has like a scene at the Christmas party where truths come out about affairs and entanglements. in the height of drunken revelations.
Ooh,
Yeah.
sounds spicy. Sounds holiday spicy. And number one, and I cannot stress this enough, this is according to the critics, Carol, which I would not think of as a Christmas movie at all. It's a romance starring Kate Blanchett, but it has a Metascore of 95 for the full list of 100 greatest Christmas movies, according to the critics, not Jonathan and Ashley. Just head to those H&N digital platforms. Some big surprises on there, and not giving some of our traditional ones the props that they deserve, in my opinion, critics. All right, let's keep talking about the box office because it was a big weekend out there for this one. Spider-Man No Way Home caught moviegoers in its web, premiering in first place at the box office with a whopping $253 million in ticket sales. That's pretty impressive given the COVID situation we're in right now. This is the third best domestic debut of all time, opening since the pandemic began.
Yeah,
so I shouldn't say all time, since the biggest since the pandemic began.
I haven't seen a movie in the theaters since COVID, but I think I really want to see that
I
one.
really, really, really want to see that one.
Yep, so on Wednesday, the 44th Annual Kennedy Center Honors will recognize extraordinary individuals who have made contributions to American culture, and this year's recipients include Bette Midler and Lorne Michaels. Here's a behind-the-scenes preview.
For the first time since 2019, we're back to share this experience together in this unbelievably delightful, magnificent opera house as we celebrate tonight's honorees, a modern music icon, Joni Mitchell, one of the greatest bass baritones of all time, Justino Diaz. Also the Emmy-winning producer and writer, Lorne Michaels. And there's the beloved entertainer and humanitarian, Bette Midler. And finally, the songwriter, producer, Berry Gordy.
Well, tonight is a very, very special night for me because Berry Gordy is getting the award. You know, he's my best friend, and I think it's long overdue. And I'm hoping that right now, you know.
I'm still in the state of exuberation. It's a wonderful, wonderful tribute.
Everyone who's honoring everyone here tonight loves them, but I mean, Joni is Joni. I mean, her songs are just a part of my DNA. I've loved them for so long. I'd still be on my feet.
It's a peak experience for sure. It's the highest honor I can think of for my craft, you know.
Like, this is as Americana as it gets. I'm very proud of Lauren for having built something like that that's been such a lasting type of thing to go down in the books like that.
It's emotional because in my case you're looking at 45 or 46 years of your life and different generations of people who've worked on the show.
Everyone who's been honored here has accomplished an amazing amount of work. When we were rehearsing, we were looking at all the names of the people that have been here, and it was wild.
Conquering the great opera houses of the world, that is Justino Diaz.
I had a wonderful time seeing my daughters out there performing. A lot of my colleagues, Denise Graves and Ana Maria Martinez, people that I love.
Una tarde me fui hacia extraña nación.
I'm looking forward to honoring my dear friend Bette Midler and to seeing all the magnificent performances.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
To be part of it, you can't even talk about it. It's just unbelievable.
It's the highest honor that you can get here in America.
Everybody was at the top of their form, and it was extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it. It was just great.
Love ending that piece with our Radford High School grad, Bette Midler there, getting the Kennedy Center Honors, which is going to air on CBS on Wednesday. That's KGMB. You don't want to miss that. And great music in that.
Oh, Beaches?
Yeah.
Remember Beaches?
Yes. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for This Is Now on this Monday. Yep, it's your holiday week, and we are here until Thursday. Ashley's going to be back